STF officials tried enforcing the lockdown order given by the government at a local market in the area when the fight occurred. The Kaduna State Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Mohammed Jalingi, confirmed to journalists that the command will issue an official statement after hearing from the divisional police officer in the area. And moving on, United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF, in the bid to prevent the spread of COVID-19 pandemic in Borno State, has carried out a sensitization training with a promise to provide necessary tools for communities in the northeast states. The training focuses on humanitarian response, how to prevent communicable diseases with sample hygiene practices, as well as adverse effects of protracted school closure on girls and vulnerable children. Speaking during the training, the education manager, UNICEF, Borno Field Officer, Dr. Nasir Kadura, stressed that patients and guardians have the role to play in ensuring that children learn how to exercise proper hygiene during this period. And still to come, U.S. record highest death toll in single day. Ipman orders back fuel subsidy removal. And Adams Silva says NBA decision likely until May. To stay tuned.
You can also watch Salvation TV News Hour live on Twitter at Salvation TV Live, Periscope at Salvation TV Live, Twitch Salvation Television. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Salvation TV. And like and follow us on Facebook at Salvation Television.
The gates of hell shall not prevail. Now in the name of Jesus, everywhere Satan has crippled the world economy, we toss him in the name of Jesus. In my name, you shall cast out devil. Whatever we bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. The root of coronavirus is tossed in the name of Jesus. Globally, we curse it from its foundation. We command the human race held captive set free. In the name of Jesus. And right now, we command that sickness to be cast out of the world. Jesus' mighty name. But you will never be a victim of any attack.
It all began with one service in one church, but now the times have changed. We have stepped into greater glory. From one international headquarters to over 700 satellite churches worldwide, Salvation Ministries presents 7 awesome services with David Ibiomi. First service, 6 a.m. Second service, 7:30 a.m. Third service, 9 a.m. Fourth service, 10:30 a.m. Fifth service, 12 noon. And now for the exciting part. Youths, can you hear me? Join Youths Arise in the 6th service by 4:45 p.m. and 7th service business hour by 6 p.m. every Sunday at Salvation Ministries headquarters and all her satellite churches worldwide, or visit www.smhos.org.
Welcome back. Now, the foreign scene. European Union says coronavirus pandemic has exposed the divides in Europe, where Italy and Spain have accused northern nations, led by Germany and the Netherlands, of not doing enough. European finance ministers were close to a deal, but the talks broke down amid a dispute between Italy and Netherlands over how to apply the recovery funds. The European Council Bank says the bloc may not need up to 1.5 trillion euros to tackle the crisis. Meanwhile, United States of America is alleged to have recorded the most coronavirus death in a single day, with more than 1,800 fatalities. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, the figure brings the total number of deaths to nearly 13,000 and more than 398,000 confirmed cases, the highest number in the world. However, President Donald Trump says the U.S. might be getting to the top of the curve. Meanwhile, the city of Wuhan in China, where the infected first emerged, has ended its 11-week lockdown. President of the European Union's ERC Scientific Research Centre, Mauro Ferrari, resigned after 3 months on the job with an attack on EU's scientific governance and political operations. Report has it that he lost his faith in the system after he failed to set up a special program to fight coronavirus pandemic, though the organization says it has the most comprehensive measures to combat the virus. Mauro Ferrari is an Italian-American scientist known as a pioneer in the field of nanomedicine with decades of work in the U.S. Meanwhile, in its statement, its spokesman emphasized that the president of the ERC chaired the council and was special advisor to the commission. South Africa's Communication Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams has been suspended for 2 months, one of which will be without pay for having lunch with a friend during the coronavirus lockdown. The communications minister has been the talk of the town since a photograph of her eating with relatives surfaced on Twitter this week. In reaction, President Cyril Ramaphosa, in a statement, says the minister's excuse wasn't good enough, saying no member of the national executive should undermine the national's effort in its trying time of the coronavirus pandemic. And now in business, Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, during its quarterly economic reports for the third quarter of 2020, urged the federal government to design informal sector-oriented economy policy that would help informal workers overcome the severe impacts on the COVID-19 pandemic. APCON noted that while most COVID-19 related packages are targeted at formal businesses, it is a wake-up call to the government on the need to support indigent members of the society, also which accounts for majority of the labor force that suffers the greatest impact of the pandemic. The association also called on the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to enhance the global competitiveness of CBCs through a phase-by-phase grade of their businesses model in line with the global trend. In compliance with the presidential directives on the ongoing lockdown in the country, Controller General of Customs, Colonel Ahmed Ali, retired, through his public relations officer, Joseph Atta, has approved the release of relief items worth 3.2 billion naira to boost the federal government's continuous effort to alleviate sufferings of the masses. The PRO noted that as a responsible agency of government, NCS appreciates the opportunity of contributing its quota to federal government's continuous effort to provide relief for Nigerians at such a time. Despite the prevailing risk, the Controller General of Customs urged operatives and all Nigerians on the need to obey all directives of government and medical experts to stop the spread of the deadly virus. Zenith Bank PLC has introduced an automated voice banking service, an interactive voice response solution which it says will enable customers to perform basic banking transactions by dialing a dedicated phone line through their registered phone numbers and following the prompts. Speaking on the launch, the bank Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ebenezer Unyago, says that the self-service product offers quick response to customers in addition to security entrenched by the multi-layer authentication mechanism. The bank noted it remains a clear leader in the digital space with several firsts in the deployment of innovative products, solutions and alternative channels that ensure convenience, speed and safety of transaction. And still in business, some stakeholders in the petroleum sector have assented to the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government. The stakeholders, during an interactive session with newsmen, says the crash in the price of oil in the international market had provided the government the opportunity to stop subsidizing the products. President, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mr. Chinedu Okoronkwo, also says the removal would allow more investors into the sector. And now, sports. Provisional dates of September 27 to October 4, 2020 have been agreed for the Han Bank 2020 World Team Table Tennis Championship in Busan, Korean Republic. The ITTF has been working in close cooperation with the Korean Table Tennis Association, led by President Yoo Seung-min, and representatives of City of Busan in order to establish the new provisional dates and also have other option dates to stage the World Championship if necessary. With the new dates proposed for September 27 through October 4, 2020, the ITTIF and KTTA continue to monitor the situation, with priority being placed on the health and safety of players, coaches, fans and officials. And moving on, still in the sporting world, Adam Silver says no NBA decision likely until May. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says he thinks he will be the last in the month of May before any decision can be made about resumption of the 2019-2020 season that was shut down amid the coronavirus pandemic. With continuing uncertainty over how the virus will continue to spread and when it might be contained, Silver says no decision has been made so far as to whether to try to complete the regular season or possibly go straight to the playoffs. And still in sports, the Canadian Grand Prix has become the 9th 2020 Formula One race to be called off, with the season now delayed until late June at the earliest. The Montreal event, which was scheduled to take place on June 14, has been postponed due to the coronavirus crisis, with no few dates confirmed. However, the French Grand Prix on June 28, 2020 is now penciled in as a season opener. And finally, in sports, U.S. prosecutor says former FIFA executive took bribes in return for voting for Russia and Qatar to host the World Cup. In what could be a highly significant twist in the FBI's long-running investigation into allegation of football corruption, a new indictment was revealed in the U.S. District Court. The documents claim several former FIFA Executive Committee members were offered or received bribes in connection with the votes. They are accused of taking money in exchange for their votes in favor of Qatar to host the 2022 World Cup. Meanwhile, Qatar denies allegation. Finally, on entertainment news, report reaching us reveals that fans of a singer, Aziz Fashola, popularly identified as Malians, were barred from court premises today, Wednesday, by police officers. The Lagos State government has charged the musician before the Lagos State Magistrate Court in Ogba for attending a crowded birthday party organized by actress Funke Akindele, popularly known as Jennifer, for her husband Abdul Rashid Bello. But the Lagos State government withdrew charges against Nasir Mali and a politician, Babatunde Badamosi. And that's it on the news. Thanks for watching. I am Letitia Obianime. Good night.
Salvation TV, restoring hope, transforming destinies.